This is the first project I do with pre-K after reading them The Dot by Peter H. Reynolds. I pre-cut a bunch of squares of all different colors, and on the first day I just kind of want to see how well the kids can use scissors, so we just practice cutting. I show them how to cut off the corners and how this sort of makes the square into a more round shape, like a circle or a dot. And then they can keep cutting off the corners if they want to make it more and more round. If students do feel confident enough to try cutting a circle, I show them how they can spin the paper while they chomp down with their scissors, and that will create a rounder circle. But that is pretty advanced for pre-K, so I do let them try it if they want, but for the most part we're just cutting off the corners and giving scissors a try. This year both of my pre-K classes are inclusion, so I do have some friends that needed some adaptive scissors for this, but everybody was able to cut off corners for the most part. And again, on the first day, they're just practicing this, and I have them put whatever they cut back into like a little box. I really like this project to do first because they're cutting, gluing, and printing. It lets me assess what they're capable of and what I may need to adapt for later projects. On the second day, I have them cut a few more of these little dots to squares, and then we will start gluing. Now, some people may disagree with me on this, but I think it's really important for kids to learn how to use a glue bottle. I have always used glue bottles with my students. I haven't had that many issues with the clogged glue caps. As long as they're closed by the end of the day, they're fine. And I just buy a big bottle of Elmer's glue and refill them. If you're not somebody who likes using glue bottles in your classroom, I totally get it. It's just what's worked for me and my students. So for the glue portion, I show them how they can add little dots of glue around the outside. I say just a dot, not a lot. And then once we have all of our glue dots on there, we flip it, stick it, and make sure it's nice and stuck on. I do sometimes do an example of putting a huge pile of glue in the middle and then putting it down, and all the glue squishes out the sides, just so they can see what happens when they do that. For my inclusion friends though, just the process of using a glue bottle, I truly don't care if they make a mess with the glue. On the last day of this project, I use primary colors. I usually use my fluorescents just because we have the dark paper. And I give them some round gadgets and circular shaped gadgets to print with. I show them how to go straight down, straight up into the paint, and straight down, straight up onto the paper. This is usually the most engaging day because, they're printing, probably painting for the first time. Some students will mix the paint and